Also ich kann ihn jetzt nach verschiedenen Infos fragen. Wahrscheinlich will er dafür immer essen. Ich frage mal nach meinen Quests. Looking for the Acid Hunters. My tummy hurts. Need burger. Hab ich. Yummy! Anyway, listen to this, pal. I've heard about these acid hunters. Don't know much about them other than that they're a group of scavengers who like wielding chemical weapons exclusively, which sorts of sets them apart from other schmucks, but only in that regard. Now, I also know that they are currently back in Core City, hiding. Why? That I don't know, but they must be holed up somewhere real hardcore, because even I don't know where they are. And I know pretty much everything. I'm John the Beautiful. Anyway, if you want to find them, you're in for some hard work. Hardcore work. Okay. Ja, spricht auch für die Kanalisation. So, Terry und Laura Baker. Er will ein Eel-Sandwich und er will immer andere Dinge. Das macht es ein bisschen schwieriger. I'm gonna munch on this thing like a stalactite is dangling over my head. Anyway, the merchants are gone. Yes, gone. They were here. Husband and wife. Been to several stores, did some trading, then took an Underrail express train out of here. Actually, to be more precise, they wanted to take the train at first, but the earthquake messed up their plans. That's what I'm telling you, pal. The trains had stopped cause a few sections of the tracks were blocked, though they spent some more time around the city in the meantime. Then, when the trains became operational again, they left. Do you know where they've gone to? Do I, pal? Do I? Come on, you're underestimating me. A little fly told me that the train was headed for Rail Crossing. But whether your friends made it there or not, that is outside of my jurisdiction. That's all I got for you. He nods a few times in affirmation, looking at you with his eyebrows raised. Then he changes his focus to the eel sandwich sitting lonely on his hands before biting into it ferociously. Once again, he looks at you and nods in affirmation. Das ist jetzt die Frage, ob's... Also ich war ja schon in Rail Crossing, habe dort gefragt. Dort hat sie eigentlich keiner gesehen. Jetzt kann es natürlich sein, dadurch, dass ich Core City betreten habe, wurde das getriggert. Und ich muss nochmal zurück. Fände ich ein bisschen billig, ehrlich gesagt. Also einfach mal schauen, was ich noch so rausfinden kann. Specific information. That's what I'm saying. Prepare some food and let's get started. Okay, ich habe gar keine Fragen wahrscheinlich, deswegen geht's nicht. General information? These informations will be free. Was denkst du über die Oligarchie? Listen, pal, listen. When you ask Corsicians, I know it's not a word, but about the oligarchs, you hear either praise or hate. I'll tell you something different, pal. Oligarchs have some serious inner conflicts. It's not public, it's not an all-out war, but it's there. It's not obvious either, but you can spot certain things. Well, not you, pal, I can spot it. I have John vision. Anyway, it's like when one oligarch notices that either of the other two oligarchs has an advantage in something, he tries to even the field in some way. Things like that, it's little things, you know? Ja, das ist ganz interessant. Na gut. What do you feel about the Faceless invasion? Come on, the Faceless? Hey pal, listen, don't be silly, okay? I've seen more hardcore things crawl out of the pipeworks. They'll just stray outside for a while, and once they realize I'm in here, they'll leave. No one messes with me, that's what I'm talking about. Ah ja, okay. Aber er konnte mir schon mal ein bisschen weiterhelfen bei den Bakers. So, dann mal hier rein. Zone Red. Ach, diese Tür habe ich vorher gar nicht gesehen gehabt. Ist sie überhaupt... Ja, die ist verschlossen. Okay. They are expecting you upstairs. Zone Red, okay. Vielleicht gehört Gorski zu den Free Drones, kann das sein? Irgendwie sowas? Die Shelves darf ich anschauen. Eine Red Hat Amulet, sehr schön. Aber die Crowbar lasse ich gleich da. So. Bootlocker darf ich auch anschauen? Okay. Hallo Gorski. Sure took your sweet time in getting here. What you've been doing? Sightseeing? Actually, forget it. Don't have time to listen to your stories. We've got work to do here. Dan 40 says hi. Das ist dieser, den ich in Foundry getroffen habe. Dan? I haven't heard that name in a long time. I'll be damned, that slob is still alive after all these years? Where did you meet him? He's a guard in Foundry now. A guard? I'm sure he's leaning against some wall and does nothing but rant about how he's bored. Believe me, that's the laziest man I have ever met, but when I needed his help, he was always there. You told me you were in a gang together. Got some cool stories to share? What the hell? You think I've got nothing better to do than tell you bedtime stories? On top of that, all that happened like 12 or 13 years ago. A man forgets some things after a while. Oh come on. You know you want to tell me some cool stuff. Fine, I'll tell you a damn story. I see you really want to hear one. Listen now. Back in the old days, Dan and I were inseparable. We did almost everything together. We robbed together, killed together, split loot, we did everything together. And oh boy, were we a deadly team. You can tell just by how many times the two of us came out of combat as the only survivors. So, there were these bandits that called themselves the Black Crawlers. Bunch of weaklings if you ask me, but they had a severe advantage in numbers. They were our main rivals in Core City. One time, during one of the skirmishes, we killed their leader's son. Actually, I killed him. It was one of those situations where me and that lazy bum were the only survivors. But what followed next surprises us more than it should have. In a few days, the crawlers found our camp in Core City and tried to take us out. I don't know how they managed to find us, but it seemed like the whole gang was there, and they were thirsty for blood. You see, our camp was located here in Core City at the northern cliffside. It was in an abandoned section, built in the cliff itself, and there was a single bridge connecting it to Core City. The crawlers piled up at one side of the bridge, waiting to attack. We had a well-fortified position, but were basically in a dead end. We exchanged fire with them for a while, and then they stormed our position. They were shot at, burned, electrocuted, even bloody blown to pieces, with limbs flying all over the place. But they just kept coming and eventually overran our defensive positions. Again, Dan and I were somehow alive and together, killing those punks, and then suddenly a bullet went through Dan's head, killing him. We're talking about the same Dan here, the one I met? He didn't die. I just wanted to see if you were paying attention. I'll continue. Please do. So, Dan and me got holed up in the back of the camp, in a small building, small but sturdy. The lazy bum was manning a machine gun, while I was gunning them down with my assault rifle, yelling. Funny enough, we had fun, until a grenade flew in through the window and we had to split. I jumped out of one window, Dan jumped out the other one. I moved behind him, behind some cover, and bam, there he was. Who was there? The leader of the Black Crawlers, Elaku. He was a boulder, bastard with a huge scar on his nose who, unlike his weak minions, could really mess a man up. I was staring down his bloody crossbow, and he knew I killed his son and wanted to send a bolt through my eye. But Dan came to the rescue. One well-placed shot from his gun shattered Elaku's wrist and made him drop the gun. I don't know why Dan didn't go for the head, that red bugger, but I reacted fast and grabbed the falling crossbow mid-air, turned it around and sent one bolt right in his forehead. His eyes rolled backwards, his jaw dropped, and he fell dead. With their leader gone, the crawlers soon scrambled. We lost nearly everyone in the gang, and the survivors split, even Dan and I. He got tired, I suppose, and he went somewhere to the west, if I remember correctly, while I stayed here for a while and formed another gang. As for the black crawlers, eventually they settled in our old camp, and they are still there. Bastards. I guess someone took over for Helaku back then. I also believe they're a bit more organized and tougher than before, but just by a little. And there you go. I usually don't talk to people this much, but I suppose I got carried away. Good memories work the job, don't they? That was a pretty cool story. Yes, it was. Are you going to leave me alone now? Okay, das kann ich also schon mal streichen aus meiner Papierliste hier. Also, dass ich ihn von Dan grüßen soll. Also das war jetzt halt einfach irgendeine Gang-Geschichte. Kam von früher. So. Und jetzt zur eigentlichen Quest mit ihm. So what's going on? Why are you holed up in here? Those pompous kids, the oligarchs, think they can cut me off from what's happening. I came here to stand against the faceless, and yet they told me in no uncertain terms to pack up and leave. None of your business, they said. Since when is Core City now of my business? I dominated these streets back when they were still nothing but Biocorp henchmen. I bet Protectorate has something to do with this. They are trying to get established here. I can smell it. Well, if they think I'm just going to sit on my hands and let the Protectorate pigs and faceless freaks run around the Underrail, they have another thing coming. We are gonna get a foothold in this city no matter what. That's why I rounded up these boys and girls here, Thlydi. Meet the Zone Rats and their leader Sneaky. Hey. Sneaky, this is Thlydi, the guy I've been telling you about. He makes things happen. Hey, good to hear. Sneak and her fine street fighters have decided to throw their lot with us in his endeavor. So, what's the plan? There are two things that we could use your help with. With the Zone Rats on our side, we have enough manpower to make our presence known when the time comes. However, they are not that well equipped, and if it comes to direct conflict with the Protectorate or the Faceless, I'm afraid we would be easily outgunned. I have an idea how we can get hold of some energy shields that will help us stay alive on the streets. And then there's the matter of that misplaced tunneler that we could make use of if we manage to recover it before anyone else. Den habe ich schon gefunden, den Tunneler. Okay. What do Tanner and Vera think of your operations here? Tanner has enough troubles holding the fort and making sure the trading is flowing safely, not to mention all the repairs and stuff, so we don't need to bother with him. And you seriously think I gave a rat hounds here what Vera thinks about anything? Your place is in the office crunching numbers for trade agreements, not deciding what happens on the streets. How bad is the Faceless situation? As you already know, they blockaded the tunnel that connects the south to the rest of Underrail. They've also made a couple of incursions into the city's outskirts. We don't know what's the purpose of these incursions, as they are clearly not trying to flood their troops into the city, at least not yet. You mentioned something about the Protectorate trying to get established here. Do you think they are making their moves right now? They've been trying to get a foothold here for years, it's no secret. The oligarchs don't trust them, but in the wake of Faceless invasion, they might be persuaded to accept assistance from the Protectorate's base in the junkyard. Also, recently they managed to negotiate a lease for one of the biggest warehouses at the docks, and if my sources are correct, they started hoarding weapons and other equipment there. Okay. So how do we get those energy shields? Remember that Protectorate warehouse I mentioned? As I said, we have reason to believe they've been hoarding weapons, ammunition and all sorts of other goodies there. We found out from a fairly reliable source that they recently revived a package of high-end energy shields. If you could infiltrate the warehouse and nab those shield emitters, that would both strengthen our position and weaken Protectorates. Sneaky has more details on how you might be able to pull this off. There's the Zove Bob. He's a Protectorate soldier, security guard or whatever they call themselves, since they are not officially allowed to have soldiers in Core City. He's also a regular here in the bar. Last night he was drinking himself silly with that gauntlet girl and per usual blabbering about this and that. I don't usually pay much attention to him, but this time he actually said something interesting. He mentioned that shipment of shield emitters and how they are supposedly top quality stuff that they are not allowed to use yet. Which is good though, as it probably means they are still stored together somewhere in the warehouse. The fool got so drunk that he couldn't turn up for his shift today. He rented a room here at the bar to sober up in. This has happened before, so it won't be unusual to his compatriots that he is missing. You can use this to your advantage. Strike the useless oaf down and procure his armor and security pass. While I don't know if this will allow you to enter freely into the warehouse, it might still help once you're inside. As long as you don't attract too much attention to yourself. No simple task, eh? But very much worth doing. So, you up for it? Yep, sure. That's the spirit. You should speak to Sneaky before you head out. She has some info that you'll probably find useful. Okay, also ich soll diese Protectorate-Basis infiltrieren. Muss dazu hier mir irgendwie eine Protectorate-Armor ergattern. Ein gewisser Bob, was glaube ich, ist hier in den Zimmern irgendwo. Und dem kann ich die abnehmen. Jetzt spreche ich aber doch nochmal mit Gorski wegen der anderen Sache. Talk about Core City. So you want to steal a tunneler from the Faceless? Not from the Faceless directly. Fill him in, Sneaky. Yeah, so the Faceless sent a couple of the machines to bore through the cliff face in drop zone. Not sure what they wanted to accomplish with that. They backed them up immediately. In one place though they messed up. I don't know if they miscalculated or what, but they bored right out of the cliff and plunged down, landing on some poor zoner's shack. The fall killed the crew and the tunneler is stuck there now. We don't know in what state the machine is in and if we can even fix it, but it's worth a shot. There's another problem though. A bunch of zoners gathered in the shack the tunneler fell into to throw a party in celebration. You'll have to persuade them to leave or remove them forcefully. After you clear the location, you must find a way to get the tunnel operational again. Look around the city and see if anyone's got the expertise, but be discreet about it. You up for this? Alright, I'll do it. Very good. Talk to Sneaky if you need any further details. Ja, also den habe ich ja schon gefunden. Jetzt spreche ich aber noch mal kurz mit Gorski, weil da war noch was. How did you meet the Zone Rats? I spent quite a number of years in Core City before I came to SGS, so I know where to look and who to ask when I need something. And I needed a local, capable, low-profile group for our operations. Thus, Zone Rats. Okay. So, Sneaky. Auch nochmal einiges. Ja, einfach von oben nach unten. I have some question about that warehouse mission. Where do I find that Bob guy? He's still in one of the rooms here in the bar. You could try stealing his armor and security pass, but I'd suggest zoning him out entirely. If he wakes up and notices they're gone, he might raise an alarm. We don't want that. How do I get into that warehouse? You could try posing as Bob, but that might be too risky. Even if you manage to pass the gates, you'll probably be questioned why you didn't show up for your shift again. There might be another way into the warehouse aside from the main gate, though. I took a peek at some of the old city plans. There seems to be a direct, uninterrupted ventilation connection from the dock's main utility room to the warehouse lower level. Getting inside this room, now that will probably be a problem in itself. Try finding the dock's superintendent. See if he can be bribed to give you access to it. Okay, alles klar. Also ich kann auch durch ein Ventilation System in die Protectorate Basis. Okay, und wegen dem Tunneler. Where is it? It's on the far northest side of the mid-level, just across the pipeworks. Pipeworks? It's Drop Zone's public toilet. Zoners claim it with great pride to be the most disgusting toilet in lower Underrail. I don't think they're far off. Do you know anything of its condition? It crashed, so it's not really in top condition. I can't tell you exactly how damaged it is, though. You'll have to find that out for yourself. Okay. What can you tell me about the Zone Rats? We are just a group of capable people who want to survive in this ruin of a city. The oligarchs are incompetent idiots who only care about their own well-being, and if the Faceless breach the city defenses, I'm sure they'll just run into the arms of their protectorate friends, seeing the deals they make with them. As for Gorski, we tagged along with him mostly because we hate the same things. And he's hardcore, and that's what the Zone Rats like. Do you know a man called John the Beautiful? She crosses her arms and responds after a pause. Why would you ask me that? I don't know. He told me he hangs around Hardcore City Bar, so I guess you might have met before. We used to spend time together. He's a nice man. We had some fun. He liked doing certain things, the complicated way though, and he's obsessed with eating. I mean, really, he used to drive me mad. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to the sounds of munching. He would just look at me and keep munching on. That's when I said to myself, enough is enough. But he was sweet otherwise, I suppose. We had some fun. Okay, Core City. Okay, what you really need to know about Core City is not at what time Gladiator A is gonna butcher Gladiator B in the arena tonight, what's the best cocktail to try at the Hardcore City bar, but that things here are rarely as they seem on the surface and that you should choose allies carefully. Take the oligarchs for example. They, through their enterprises Cortec, JKK, Praetorian Security, are endlessly plotting against one another, sabotaging one another, even though on the surface it seems as if these fine gentlemen are cooperating, doing everything they can to improve the lives of the common folk. They are cooperating, yeah, sure, when lots of coins are involved, like in the case of the arena. Noble cause, eh? These people are filthier than the filthiest toilet bowl in the pipeworks. It's hard for me to tell you who can be trusted in this pipe-working city, but it's piss easy to tell you who can't. Stay away from their enterprises, no matter how enticing their offers might sound. Got that? Okay, and the oligarchy? It's typical stuff. You got a bunch of wealthy, powerful, fat rats ruling a decadent city. To pacify the commoners and divert their attention from everything that's wrong, they offer brutal family entertainment, the arena. Poor sods are preoccupied with it, as the city slowly but surely falling apart. That's how our everyday life here in Core City feels, friend. Like the world around us, like the world around you is slowly sinking into the black abyss of the drop zone, and you're sinking with it. Faster than the fat rats, that's for sure. Well, I ain't gonna sit around twiddling my thumbs. I ain't. We ain't. Slyly, right? Right? Okay, on the free drones. I support their battle against the Protectorate, as those rats should be driven out of South Underrail, but I feel they've gotten more and more fanatical over the years. If they accuse you of being a collaborator, you are done for. Not much evidence is needed. Suspicion is enough to get you tied to the tracks and have your guts stretched from one station to the other while your family watches it. No different than the wildest of gangs, don't you think? Okay, also ich weiß jetzt, wie ich die Warehouse-Mission angehen soll. Also diesem Bob, der hier ein Zimmer hat, die Kleidung stehlen und dann einfach mal bei den Docks gucken. Beim Tunneler, den muss ich halt reparieren. Also gefunden habe ich ihn, befreit habe ich ihn von den Banditen. Aber ich brauche jetzt irgendwie einen Mechaniker. Vielleicht spreche ich die Händler jetzt auch nochmal drauf an, jetzt wo ich die Quest habe, vielleicht hat das was getriggert. Und ansonsten, ja, erzählt mir wieder, dass die Oligarchen sich nicht ganz einig sind bei vielen Dingen. Und auch so ihre Machtspielchen haben, intern. Und zu den Free Drones sagt er, dass sie eigentlich gut sind, wobei sie ein bisschen zu fanatisch wurden. Sodass man aufpassen muss, sich nicht mit ihnen anzulegen und auch nicht, ja, dass auch nicht den Anschein hat, dass man sich mit ihnen anlegt. Weil sie sich doch sonst schnell gegen einen stellen. Okay. Later. Later, Southgater. Haha.